February 19th, 2013. A cold winter evening in Kansas City, Missouri. A violent explosion leveled a popular restaurant in the city's bustling downtown district.
There was just an explosion. It was a gas explosion, and the fire is blazing.
I thought I was gonna die. Honestly, I thought I was trapped in there.
The explosion came over an hour after a construction crew hit a natural gas line in a nearby alleyway, causing a leak that later ignited. One woman died, 15 others were injured, and several nearby businesses were damaged or destroyed. The crew was hired by a major telecommunications company to lay fiber optic cable. Nearly 2 weeks before the accident, they requested a ticket from Missouri One Call System. Utility operators responded using multiple colors of paint to indicate the location of their facilities in the alleyway, including a single yellow line for gas and a single red line for electric placed 9 inches apart. However, details about the number, size, and materials of those facilities were not included in the markings. On the day of the accident, before digging began, the crew potholed between the yellow and red markings. 24 inches down, they uncovered 2 black plastic lines running alongside one another. The crew later told investigators they believed they had exposed the 2 underground facilities, one gas main and one electric line. To avoid hitting these lines, they decided to direct their drill bit to a depth of 37 inches. What they didn't know was the lines they found were both electric, and the gas main was buried right in the path of their drill. Unaware of the danger, the crew began drilling the bore path. They used potholes and a locating device to verify and track the location of the drill bit, and placed white dots on the pavement to show its location. However, investigators later found the crew member operating the bore was not qualified to do so, and the rest of the crew had not been trained in using the locating device to check for interference along the bore path. Their work progressed throughout the day. Just before 5, the drill bit hit the natural gas line. The crew called 911, the gas company, and the One Call Center. Above ground, first responders began arriving at the scene. Below ground, the gas escaped from the damaged pipe, winding its way through the sewer system, void spaces, and loose dirt toward the surface. Firefighters told employees at nearby JJ's Bar and Restaurant to open the doors and windows and extinguish any ignition sources. Investigators later found JJ's employees only put out the candles and turned the stove off, but did not turn off the pilot lights for the stove or hot water heater. 30 minutes after the strike, the gas company arrived.
We asked what he needed us to do, and he stated that he had the situation under control. He then advised us that we could leave the scene with him.
The gas company later told investigators they never had any contact with the fire department at the scene. Firefighters did not order an evacuation and left the scene moments later. At this time, the gas company rep assessed the situation, confirmed natural gas was blowing from the damaged pipe, and immediately called for backup. However, in a break with company protocol, no leak inspection was performed, and the nearby manhole covers were not removed. Below ground, the gas continued to build.
We were like, hey, we smell gas. Even cars driving by were like, hey, we smell gas.
Calls poured into the gas company from nearby businesses and passersby reporting the strong smell. An hour after the strike, more gas company personnel arrived on scene. A gas response crew began preparing to access the damaged main, while the excavation crew remained in the alleyway, observing. 2 service technicians began responding to the odor calls. Within minutes of each other, the 2 techs entered JJ's to check for gas. Their meter alarms went off, and they both told the restaurant manager to evacuate before leaving to check nearby businesses for gas.
And they said, well, because of the smell in here, you guys should really leave. They didn't make it sound like you need to get out this second.
Meanwhile, the excavation crew was completely unaware of the need to evacuate. As time passed, the gas continued to migrate underground, dangerously accumulating wherever it could. The service techs continued making the rounds at nearby buildings, taking gas readings and telling people to evacuate, while the gas crew foreman started hand digging to expose the damaged main. At this point, JJ's customers had left and the employees were taking steps to close.
So we were packing up to leave, so we were kind of taking our time, putting things away, locking up the register, and then just boom, and everything was black.
There was just an explosion. It was a gas explosion, and the fire is blazing.
The explosion sent a massive fireball out into the street, collapsing a portion of the restaurant onto several JJ's employees.
I thought I was trapped in there, and then just with all my might, like I said, I just got this strength and lifted the rubble off.
One of their co-workers, a 46-year-old female server pinned under the rubble, was unable to escape and died in the fire. Meanwhile, in the alleyway, the blast injured 2 workers from the fiber optic crew, leaving them with severe cuts, burns, and broken bones. Firefighters returned to the scene to evacuate nearby buildings. They battled the flames for nearly an hour before the fire was out. It took the gas company another hour to cut off the leak. Following the explosion, gas representatives conducted leak surveys. When they removed a sewer manhole cover to vent the gas, they found readings well above the company's threshold to establish a restricted zone and conduct evacuations.
I know the important thing is she loved and she was loved.
The JJ server killed in the explosion left behind a grieving community of friends, family, and regular customers. One of the fiber optic crew members suffered a traumatic brain injury and was never able to return to work. Another crew member, an avid dirt track racer with a wife and 2 kids, underwent 20 surgical procedures to repair the burns that covered his body, forever changing his life.
It has changed a lot. That dramatically changed is an understatement. I can't sleep through the night without feeling the effects of February 19th.
He later filed one of the 12 lawsuits in this case. The jury in the trial for one of the largest lawsuits found the telecommunications company who hired the construction crew responsible for the accident. Meanwhile, Missouri's investigating agencies found the gas company, the construction crew, and the owner of JJ's all contributed to the accident.
We've made some changes since this occurred.
Following the investigation and court cases, the construction company began offering more safety trainings to employees and doing more field audits. The fire department changed its protocol for handling gas leaks and no longer hands off evacuation responsibilities to the gas company. And the gas company added